Oh, hey, Wonder World. Happy motherfucking Tuesday. 100 wonderful ways to get more and better clients coming in hot because you joined a Facebook group called Unicorn Client Attraction Secrets because, of course, you want to get more clients, right? That's why you're here. So that's what we're delivering every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am ripping through one of my content strategies, one of my money-making strategies to help you to attract more and better clients because I know that's why the fuck you're here, right? So say hey when you're popping on. Let's get this fucking live started today with a big motherfucking bang. Say hey, tell me what the fuck's going on with you today because I'm gonna tell you what the fuck's going on with me today. So today is the 4-year anniversary of my very first launch. Okay. Hi, Shawnee. How are you? Today's the 4-year anniversary of when I did my first 3-day workshop inside of this group when this group was 3 months old and I made 22,000 motherfucking dollars and completely changed my whole life and knew that I was never going back to bartending ever the fuck again. It was a total game changer. So I'm going to be breaking down that specific strategy today of how I did a 3-day workshop. Hi, Claudia. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Sam. Oh, Sam, your avatar hair looks so good. Hi, Katie. Happy fucking Tuesday, Ashley. Yeah, in some ways, I can't believe that it's been 4 years because that seems like forever. And in other ways, it feels like it's always been like this. And I don't even remember having to go to bartender land. Okay, guys, so let's talk about 3-day workshops, shall we? So this is one of my 100 wonderful ways to get more and better clients is to do a 3-day workshop. If you want to know what the other 9,900 wonderful ways to get better clients is, you can go to nonstopnotifications.com and check out those 100 wonderful ways. And no, you don't have to do all 100 of them. You get to just cherry pick and choose the ones that you like the best. So if you are the kind of person who wants to do a 3-day workshop, let's talk about the characteristics that you probably need to have in order for this to be successful. So first and foremost, drop your offers in the comments, right? Because we're here to help you get more and better clients and to increase that visibility. So we want you guys to be seen. So tell everybody what you do. Tell everyone why you're here in this fucking group. Tell us what it is that you fucking do here. And yes, to dropping links. You can drop your links to your lead magnets or whatever the fuck it is that you want to promote today, because here we are all about the frequency of abundance. Fun fact, this was the first group to abolish the no promo rule way back in the day. And so I have always stood for this where everyone else is just copied me. Hi, Tina. Happy fucking Tuesday. Okay, guys, so let's get into this. If you want to throw a 3-day workshop, let's talk about what you need. One, you need the stamina. Okay. You personally need the stamina in order to execute this, which means that you're going to have to show up 3 days in a row, right? You're going to set it in your schedule and say, okay, I'm going to do 3 of these sessions. Now, I highly recommend that you just start with an hour-long session and not try to do anything bigger than that because it is a little bit challenging, especially to be live in front of everybody. Like I was definitely fucking scared out of my mind. I was so nervous the first time that I did this and I was in my old living room in my old house, right? And I was begging my dog. I was like, Pisco, please shut the fuck up while I do this live. Don't bark at anything. Right? I was negotiating with the animal, trying to avoid the mailman, doing all of these things. And I had set up my laptop in such a way, and I was like, putting my phone on this, like I had stacked up like little things of chocolate. That's what I had to stack things on. And so I was trying to set it up so that I could see the screen. I could look at the camera and I could also see my notes at the same time. Like you guys, it was fucking terrifying. Okay. I was very fucking scared. Tina, you remember those lives in my living room with my dog barking at the mailman? Oh, now I just have a cat that sits in my lap while I'm trying to work. Get out of here, cat. Same. Shit, some shit doesn't change, guys. Some shit doesn't fucking change, okay? Um, so guys, it's okay to be nervous with this, but you got to understand that you are going to be on there live for an hour. Oh, realizing my computer's not plugged in. So yes, you are going to be live on there for an hour. And so you got to have the stamina for this, right? You got to be in that mindset of being able to talk with your audience for a whole hour 3 days in a row. So that means that you should definitely be practicing lives before you do that. And inside of my signature content strategy, Content That Crushes, I'm encouraging you to do a live every single week so that you build up your stamina and so that you get connected to that entire energy, right? Of going live, of it feeling normal for you, of you being able to have conversations with your audience, of you being able to really connect and cultivate and convert just on a weekly basis is going to set you up for massive success when you actually set up a 3-day workshop. Okay. So you got to be able to hold the frequency, hold the energy, stay on the live, even though you're like, maybe I could just close the computer screen and just run and maybe no one will notice, right? No, that's not how it works. You got to stay right here. And you also have to be able to teach a subject for those 3 days that's not going to cannibalize your main offer. Okay. And this is clutch. This is key. This is definitely something that you have to consider of what am I going to actually instruct people for 3 fucking hours that's not going to give them everything that they need to get the result of my main offer. And this is where I see a lot of people making mistakes. This is where I see most people fucking things up, is that they are creating a 3-day workshop that sells the same thing as their offer and completely cannibalizes everything. And then people are like, thanks for this amazing 3-day workshop. I'm gonna go try all this stuff and I'll never be back. And then they don't buy your thing, right? So it's really reminding yourself, why are you doing this 3-day workshop? Yes, you want to help and serve your audience, right? But I would also assume that making $22,000 would feel like a good thing today, right? That closing 14 clients would feel like a good thing today. Yeah. So if you want to be able to do that, you need to set up your formula for your workshop in accordance with a little thing that we call an open loop. Okay, so you must have an open loop. And let me just break this down for you very simply. Okay, so what an open loop means is that we are going to solve one problem. Okay, we're going to solve one problem. That problem is going to create 2 new problems. Does this make sense? Now, these 2 new problems are going to be solved by your signature offer. Okay, that is how we create an open loop workshop, so that our workshops are very valuable. They're very effective. People love them. They want more of them. And then they also ascend to the next level. So this is a very important part of the puzzle. And if you're building a training without an open loop, stop doing that, okay? Because that's why people are not buying. Okay. Yeah, no, I know, Ashley, people did not know what open loops were. And I have to tell you, my coaches explain open loops in like the most difficult, confusing way possible. I'm like, that's dumb. Why don't we just say it like this? And they're like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. I'm like, right. Okay. So let me give you an example. My first workshop was about content that crushes. So if you don't know what content that crushes is, content that crushes is my signature content strategy, the one I used on my personal page to close 10 high ticket clients in my first 6 weeks. Okay. So I broke down how to do content that crushes, okay, over a 3-day workshop. Now, what this does is allows you to close a couple clients from your personal page, right? It gives you a content strategy in order to do that. It gives you the 5 algorithm hacking pieces of content that you need to put on your personal page so you can start closing a couple clients. That solves one problem. And the one problem is, 1, I'm terrified to post on my personal page. 2, I have no fucking clue what to post on my personal page. And 3, I don't know what to post on my personal page in order to attract clients. I solve that for you with content that crushes. That is a solution and it's valuable to you. You can even make money from this. Lots of people do content that crushes and get clients like literally fucking instantly, like within days. People are getting clients from doing content that crushes on their personal page. But now we've created 2 new problems. Okay. So in these 2 new problems, 1, content that crushes only works if you have a well-positioned offer. Okay. If you don't have a well-positioned offer, content that crushes, not going to work. Okay. That's not how that works. So inside of Nonstop Notifications, which is the program that I sold in this first launch, right? I was positioning your offer with you. I was showing you how to position your offer to lead with a monetizable, tangible result so that people did want to buy your thing, right? Okay, then it created another problem over here on the other side because now you have this content strategy, but you don't have any audience development. Okay, so content that crushes is not going to work if you don't have a monetized audience, if you don't have an audience that's developed. Well, guess what? Inside of Nonstop Notifications, the client attraction program, what else did you get? Audience development, right? Audience development to optimize on your personal page, audience development to optimize inside of Facebook groups. So I solved one problem, okay, that created two new problems, and those two new problems were solved by my offer. Do you see how that works? Okay, so when you're building out the foundations for your 3-day workshop, this is what you have to start with. Okay, you need to create a training that is based on open loops. Okay, you can't create a training that's like, hey, I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about client attraction in the next 3 days, because then why would anybody buy? And quite honestly, can you really teach them everything that they need to know in your signature offer in 3 days? Probably not, right? So ethically, you would be over promising and under delivering anyways. And that's the last thing that you want to do. Okay, so now let's talk about the formula itself of day 1, day 2, and day 3, because this is very important. And this is something I definitely see people skipping over and not understanding the mechanics of this. Okay, so who here has ever gone to a 3-day workshop? Have you ever attended one? Okay, raise your hand. Have you ever attended a 3-day workshop, and how did it go for you? What were your thoughts? What were your feelings? Because for me, I have attended 3-day workshops, and what I saw was fluff, fluff, pitch. Okay, right? That's it. Okay, fluff, fluff, pitch. And I'm like, okay, but like, you didn't give me what you promised me. You filled this day 1 up with this big, long, drawn out story about shit about you that I don't fucking care about, right? And then on day 2, you gave me some shitty templates that I could have easily gotten on, from Googling, right? And then day 3, you just told me your big, long, shitty story again and then pitched me. That is primarily what I see in 3-day workshops is fluff, fluff, pitch. Why the fuck would anybody buy from that? Like, that makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. And so I was like, this is trash. Like, this is fucking absolute garbage. I'm not going to allow myself to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your fucking time. And so I developed a higher and better formula with this, okay, where I understood the open loops, right? And I was like, okay, this open loop's going to be maintained. But what I'm going to do instead is that, yes, on day 3, I'm going to pitch. And we're going to start with day 3 because we're going to reverse engineer. Okay. Doing things backwards is one of the highest and best things that you can do for your business. Okay. Just always flip it on its head. When in doubt, reverse engineer. Okay. So let's think about this at the end. So on day 3, right? On day 3, I know I'm going to pitch, right? But what am I going to do right before that pitch? Because I'm not going to spend an hour fucking pitching. Okay. That's too long. Like, you don't want to sit here and listen to me pitch for a fucking hour. Okay. I can do that shit in 7 fucking minutes. Like, I don't need to fucking spend an hour on that. So what am I going to do with the other fucking 53 minutes of this? Right. So this is where you put your juiciest piece. This is the thing that people want the most, okay? The sexiest thing that they're like, ooh, I have to have that, okay? So that micro topic, you're gonna put on day 3. Does that make sense? Okay, so on day 3, you wanna put the juiciest thing, and then that's gonna segue and lead into the pitch. Make sense? Okay, so now for reverse engineering, now we're gonna look at day 2. Okay, so on day 2, I gotta let you in on a little secret, okay? On day 2, everyone's tired and grumpy. Okay, everyone's tired and grumpy on a workshop, and your numbers, don't be surprised if on day 2 they kind of drop off, right? Because people came in really hot and excited on day 1. And then on day 2, they're like, okay, I'm making myself do this because I did day 1, right? And so not everyone shows up on day 2. So it's okay to have that number drop. And it's actually pretty common for it to go like this. Okay. So if the numbers drop on day 2, that's okay. But this is actually where you put what I call the unicorn meat. Okay, so this is the unicorn meat on day 2. This is the thing that's the most challenging part of whatever it is that you're teaching. It's the hardest part, okay? It's the thing that most people struggle with. And so you want to be able to go a little bit slower on day 2. People are a little bit fatigued. They're a little tired from yesterday. If this is your first workshop, you're probably a little tired from yesterday too, okay? So you're going to go a little bit slower, and you're going to go through one singular concept on day 2 that is going to give them that feeling of trial, tribulation, and triumph. Okay, where they're like, oh, this is you explaining something that nobody else explains very well. And now I finally get it. So they have that kind of aha moment on day 2, but it's through challenge. You want to challenge them on day 2. Does this make sense? Okay, so day 3 is sexy and juicy, right? Day 2 is the unicorn meet where we challenge them, but we also really help them. This is where the unicorn meet is, okay? Now on day 1, okay, because we're reverse engineering, right? On day 1, we're gonna have fun. Okay, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna do shit that people want to do. This is that thing of sell them what they want and deliver what they fucking need. Okay, we're gonna suck them in. We're gonna get them all fucking emotionally riled up on day 1. We got that high energy. We got that fucking vibe. We're making everybody feel a feeling. All of the feelings and that feeling of like, I love this. This is what I want to do. Oh my God, I finally found the thing that I want to learn about. Day 1 is the hype day. Okay, so we have hype day, we have unicorn meet day, and then we have our sexy, juicy piece that everybody wants following to the pitch. So this is how you need to break down the formula step by step. Now, remember, you got to maintain your open loops the entire time. And what I do that's a little bit different than what most people do is that I do transparency open loops. Okay. So I'm not doing anything sneaky. I'm not hiding shit from you because I don't like that. And in my world, one of our core values in Wonder World is transparency. Okay. So I do transparent open loops. And so that means I'm going to fucking tell you. Okay. It's to say, I'm going to say, hey, this content that crushes formula is fantastic when you have a well-developed offer, okay, that's well-positioned to a monetized tangible result, and you have a well-developed audience, okay, a monetized audience. Then you can put content that crushes in the middle and just close clients left and right. But if you don't have those two things, this isn't going to work at the highest and best level. So I'm going to teach you this strategy. I want you to understand this strategy, but I also want you to know, full butthole transparency, okay, I want you to know that if you don't have a well-positioned offer, it's not going to work at the highest and the best. If you don't have a monetized audience, it's not going to work at the highest and the best. Okay, so when I transparently tell you those things, what happens? Your brain starts putting 2 and 2 together and saying, I see. Okay, I'm going to get step 1, but step 2 and 3 is inside of her program. So if I want step 2 and step 3, I get to ascend. Okay, and so that's what we're doing to transparently lace these open loops in to what we call priming for the pitch. So a lot of people, especially when they're first getting fucking started in 3-day workshops, they make this very common mistake, okay, where they come in, right, and they don't tell you anything about their offer. There's nothing in there. And then all of a sudden the pitch comes in and just crap, slaps people in the face and they're like, what? Like, I didn't even know you were fucking selling something, okay? And then they're blindsided. When people are blindsided by the pitch, they are offended, they are defensive, they don't like that shit, it's sleazy, it's being sold to, they feel the feeling of bait and switch and they don't fucking like that shit, okay? The fact of the matter is that we're all running a fucking business here, right? Raise your hand. You're running, say, I am running a fucking business, not a goddamn charity, right? Even a charity. Got news for you, bitches. I run one. It is a fucking business, okay? Like, we are running a business here. We're here to close clients and we're here to help those clients to get the highest and best results. And they get the highest and best results when they're invested. When they pay, they go all in, because when people pay, they pay the fuck attention, right? Okay, so we want to give people that opportunity to invest in themselves at the highest and the best motherfucking caliber, right? That's what helps them to get the highest and best results. So it shouldn't be a surprise to you that there's an offer, right? It shouldn't be surprising. And that means another layer of transparency is that we need to talk about the program leading into the pitch. And so that meant during Content That Crushes, if I was doing a Content That Crushes workshop, I was talking about nonstop notifications. I was mentioning it. I was telling transformational stories about people that got really good results in there. I was talking about my client, Jasmine, who was part of the beta, and that she had closed 3 $3,500 clients in one fucking month. She went from making $1,200 a month to making $10,000 in literally her first month inside of my program. So because I was talking about nonstop notifications, it wasn't a surprise at the end that I was pitching nonstop notifications. Duh, right? That's how that works. So you want to drop those little breadcrumbs, and you definitely want to tell client-based stories, okay? You want to lace them into all 3 days, not just your pitch day. You want to have them every single day. You want to lace them in naturally. So when you're talking about specific topics and going through this, you want to ask yourself, how do I know this works, right? How do I know that this is effective? And then you want to share that story. So I, of course, was sharing my own story around closing 10 high ticket clients in my first 6 weeks using content that crushes, right? And I was like telling that over and over again. But then I was also demonstrating that it worked for other people. And I was like, okay, so my client Jasmine, who's a copywriter who was making $1,200 a month, started using content that crushes instead. And she closed three $3,500 clients in her first fucking month. Okay, so I'm telling my story plus my client's story. And so this is creating a priming energy for the pitch. Okay, you're inception pitching in day 1, day 2, and day 3. So when you're writing out your flow for your 3-day workshop, you want to ensure that you're putting those pieces in there so that you remember when you're on screen and scared to tell those transformational stories, because that's what gets people ready to want that result and helps them to believe that it's possible for them. Is that making sense? Right? Is that, of course, we want to talk about our offer before we get to our offer. We don't want to surprise people. That's not good. That's not the kind of surprise and delight that we're talking about. Okay. Pitches should not be a surprise. Now, let's talk about a very important piece of this as well, called conditioning statements. Who here knows what a fucking conditioning statement is? What is a conditioning statement that you have heard in Wonderworld? Okay. If you don't know what a conditioning statement is, a conditioning statement is a label. It's an identity maker that you say inside of your brand context that helps people to become the kind of person who would naturally invest. So what are those conditioning statements that you've heard me say? Right? What are those conditioning statements? Because if you can identify mine, then you can start creating yours. And inside of your 3-day workshop, 100%, guys, you want to include your motherfucking conditioning statements, because from day 1 to day 3, you want these people to become the kind of person that would naturally invest with ease. Thank you, Ashley. Action takers get results, right? So that's a conditioning statement that I frequently use. Why? To inspire you to be an action taker, because when you are an action taker, you do in fact get results, right? But of course, we're lacing this in to take action, to be the kind of person who naturally invests with ease and moves up that level, and not doesn't just buy a program, but actually takes action once they get inside of the motherfucking program, right? So that is a conditioning statement. Okay. The way you do one thing is the way you do all things. This is another conditioning statement that I frequently use, right? Because that is about self-assurance. And what do we sell with, guys? Self-motherfucking assurance. When you're the kind of person who does what the fuck you say you're going to do, then you get those fucking results, right? So I'm helping you to believe in yourself a little bit more each day. There's another one, Katie. This is just the beginning. Right? So that's giving you that feeling, that sparkle inside, right? Where you're like, ooh, this is just the beginning. I'm limitless. I have limitless possibilities, which of course makes you want more, makes you want higher and better results, helps you to believe that you are able to get those higher and better results, right? Believing and seeing. This is another one, right? Is learning to believe in yourself so that you can see those results. Okay. So guys, conditioning statements are extremely powerful, right? Okay, how do you feel when you say those statements? Like, think about that. How does it make you feel when you say action takers get results? How does it make you feel when you say your true self attracts your true believer, right? How do you feel when you say that? Because I want you to take off your pants, right? Fuck pants, right? Okay, how do you feel when you hear that, when you say it? Okay, that is giving that feeling inside of you that's going to help you to become the kind of person that believes you're capable of getting the results. Because why the fuck would you invest if you didn't believe that you were capable of getting results? Okay, I want to help you to believe in yourself a little bit more each day. And that's definitely something that you want to do with your clients, right? Katie feels liberated when she hears my true self attracts my true believer, right? That liberation is that freedom inside of you that allows you to take action, right? Okay, so that's what allows you to become the person who naturally invests. So can you allow yourself to create some of your own conditioning statements? Don't just steal mine, okay? They're more powerful when you create them yourself. So create conditioning statements and then put them through that 3-day workshop. Now, there's something else that I've actually been doing with you and playing a little game with you and modeling this for you this entire time inside of this little baby workshop. So can you tell me what it is? What is the thing that I have been doing this whole time that is also something that you need to do inside of 3-day workshops? Does anybody have any guesses? Does anyone have any guesses? Tell me. Did you find it? Did you find the secret little unicorn hack inside of this so that we can model it? Tell me what you fucking got, okay? Because there is one other little thing that's really important to do. okay, when you're doing 3-day workshops, it's really having this conversation, right? Where you're actually talking with your audience. Okay, is that we're sitting here and I'm saying your names, right? I'm saying your name, Katie. I'm saying your name, Sam. I'm saying your name, Ashley. Okay, so that we're having a conversation with our audience instead of talking at them. Okay, we're not gonna just get up here and like, you know, those boring ass like fucking PowerPoint things. It's like there's slides up on the screen, and you're in the corner of this tiny little picture, and you're literally like reading the slides to your audience. You guys, this is not the fucking vibe. Okay, this is not the fucking vibe. Okay, like don't do a PowerPoint and just read it to your audience. Okay, like they're not stupid. They can read slides by themselves. You don't need to do that shit. When we're doing a 3-day workshop, okay, we're actually engaging. And the one key thing that I'm doing with this is that I'm asking you questions. Okay, so some of you are coming in here and you are typing those questions in, right? And you're answering those questions right now. Okay, and some of you are lurkers, and bitch, I see you. Okay, like I get that shit, right? Some of you are gonna watch on the fucking replay. But even though you're not typing in those questions, you are still, in fact, answering them in your head. Okay. So the coaching angle of this is still happening. You're still becoming the person every single time I ask you a question, because when I ask you a question, you answer it, right? What color is the sky, bitch? You just thought blue, right? So every time I ask a question, your subconscious is answering it. So this is a powerful tool that you can use inside of 3-day workshops that coaches don't teach, but you definitely want to be engaging with your audience, right? Asking for that engagement, asking to go back and forth with this, but also asking questions because it spurs that mental connection, okay? Where you're not just connecting with me, you're connecting the fucking dots, okay? And that's really important in helping you to become the person who can invest with ease, who believes that you're going to get those results. Now, we also want to be overcoming objections along the way, okay? So the only way to overcome objections is to know what your audience's objections are. You have to know what their objections are in order for you to overcome them, okay? So there's going to be common objections, and I want you guys to understand, I'm not talking about sales objections. Okay. Sales objections are like, I can't buy this because I can't afford it. Right. Okay. That's not what I'm talking about. Right. We're not talking about, I don't have time to do this. Like those are sales objections. I'm talking about methodology objections. So one of the methodology objections that we have for content that crushes, right, is that it's a strategy that you use on your personal page to close clients. It's how I closed my first 10 high ticket clients in my first 6 weeks on my personal page before this group existed. Okay. So one of the very common objections in this is, but Nicole, I don't want to use my personal page and I'm scared. Right? I'm afraid to use my personal page because people I know might know I have a business, and that's very scary. Okay. And so that's a very common thing that happens, right? Is that people feel that feeling that they're afraid. So in the workshop, it's up to me to show them why they're safe and how they can feel safe and what kind of energy work they can be doing to overcome this fear of, you know, your friends being there. So one of the things that I do is I tell stories that are analogy based, right? And universal truths. So if you had an ice cream shop, guys, in town, right? Like literally in the city that you live in, if you had an ice cream shop, would you tell your friends that you have an ice cream shop, right? Would your friends sometimes come see you at work? Like, of course, right? Your family, your cousins would probably bring their fucking kids in, right? Because you own the ice cream shop. Same, bitch. Okay. Same. You want your friends and family to know that you have a business because they are one of your best referral sources. So going onto your personal page and talking about your business is one of the best things you can do for your business. Okay. So you want to overcome that fear and choose to believe that you're creating content for the people who support you, not those bitches from high school who don't fucking support you. Okay. That's what helps them in order to take that next step. So you need to know their methodology objections and you get to overcome them in that process. Okay. Now, content that crushes was an extremely powerful tool to teach during this workshop because it created that solution where people were getting clients. Now, one of the clients that bought inside of this launch is someone that you guys all know. Okay. One of the people that bought in my very first launch was Liz. Okay. And Liz came into my Facebook group and came right into this workshop, like literally like in the same week, I think. Right. So she came in and we did a welcome post. And inside of my welcome post, I was talking about the fact that people get clients inside of this group all the fucking time, right? And she was like, okay. And then she came to that workshop and I gave her the pieces of content that crushes, and she was like, okay, now I have this content strategy, but I realize I need a well-positioned offer and I need a monetized audience. So then what's the next logical step? And so because she had these pieces, she felt like she wanted all of the pieces. Okay. So dangling that carrot and giving somebody this tangible result where they're like, okay, this girl knows what the fuck she's talking about. Now I want more. The want more energy is why Liz bought. Okay. And so also understand that that's what you're doing inside of the pitch, right? Is that you're giving them more of the same. You're giving them more of what they want. And so that's why it feels really energetically aligned. And that's why it feels really, really fucking good. So inside of Money Making Unicorns today, we're going to be talking all about pitching. Okay. I'm going to talk about teeing up that pitch and what you need to do to drive traffic so that you can have a really successful pitch, because now you have your workshop formula, right? So you want more, right? We just talked about all these pieces of the workshop. And so now you want more. Inside of Money Making Unicorns, my $47 a month membership, I'm going to give you more. We're going to talk about that pitch. So see what I did there? Inceptioned you, right? I've been talking about content that crushes this entire time. And for just $7, you can access content that crushes. And when you do access content that crushes, you're also going to be offered Money Making Unicorns, which is my $47 a month based membership, where we really are focused on strategy. And I take whatever concepts we're talking about on this call, and then I move them over there and I give you the elevated version, that next money-making piece that you need in order to take your business to the next level inside of Money Making Unicorns. So do you see what I did here? Do you see the transparency? Do you see the open loop now? I'm modeling this for you in such a way that you'll be able to recreate this for yourself. Okay. So this has been your episode of 100 Wonderful Ways to Get More and Better Clients. We come back here every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to talk this through. And also raise your unicorn horn in the comments and we'll swing by and give you the links to Content That Crushes. But I'm also going to put it up here above this live for everybody watching on the replay so that you guys can get Content That Crushes, start using that personal page strategy to be able to attract your first 10 high ticket clients in your first 6 weeks so that you can catapult and start your motherfucking empire too. And then you can get your ass inside of Money Making Unicorns, where we do weekly lives, weekly trainings every single week that, you guessed it, help you to make more motherfucking money. All right, guys, get out there, do all of the wonderful things. And as always, we'll see you next Tuesday.